Hello, my name is Alec Toombs. I'm here with the Film Yap out of Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm here today with Johnny Strong, writer, director, editor, colorist, composer, sound designer, VFX designer, special effects makeup artist,
Jeez.
camera operator, stunt coordinator, props department member, head lighting technician, and star of Warhorse One. Johnny, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Alec. That's quite an intro.
I was impressed with all the roles you took on in the film, and you wore a lot of hats on the project. You're kind of giving Robert Rodriguez a run for his money. Was this out of necessity?
Well, no. I was gonna say, to me, that's normal. That's
Okay.
like kind of Chaplin was always a guy that I thought was like, well, that's the way you're supposed to do it. So,
Sure.
So to me, that's kind of normal.
So it's not necessarily a necessity. It might be more of a coming from a
Oh no,
passion place,
I could hire
or both.
everybody to do it. I could
Sure.
definitely. I mean, there's a lot of people out there in the world that are great at those things, but
Sure.
I have personally, it's like one of those things that I come from if you want it done right,
Sure.
at least the way your mind sees it as right, do it yourself.
Sure, that's fair. I'm a big fan of your film Sinners and Saints, Warhorse One, Warhorse One, excuse me.
Yeah, I am a
marks your
workhorse, so that works out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Marks your third collaboration with that picture's director, William Kaufman, who co-wrote and co-directed with you. What is it about working with Kaufman that you respond to? And what is it about you that you figure he might respond to?
Well, this is different. Like our first two films was me kind of participating to help him make those films. Those were his babies, like his ideas, his thing. And I came in and contributed a little bit, like I can't help myself but go, maybe we should change this or tweak this. So this marks actually the first time that it was my baby, my idea, and kind of inviting him in on my project. Of which I did kind of like a similar thing that he did for me to help him with those films, where I kind of opened it up and said, hey man, these are the things you want to contribute. And him and I, similar but very different in a lot of ways, personal, professional. The thing that I've always come from, and which is why this is an interesting marriage here, is like he's an action film director, writes and directs action films. He's a working director. Like he shot, I want to say after a certain amount of weeks, like 6 weeks or something, he moved on to go shoot 2 other movies. And I was still making this film by myself with a small crew.
Sure.
So I never really wanted to make action films. I come from the storytelling background of like the classics. Like I like fantasy and drama and tragedy and a little bit of peril, like what now is considered action, right? Or violence or whatever it might be, and then comedy and all these things. I like the whole thing, I don't really like the fact that our film business is compartmentalized styles. Oh, this is a comedy, this is this, but it's kind of like a natural progression to help kind of appease the natural desire of human beings to simplify the engagement process of like, this is a hamburger stand. That's where you can get, you know what I mean? Like that, it's very kind of simplified, compartmentalized thing. And to me,
You don't want to be put in a box, it sounds like,
well,
or pigeonholed.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. Like for me, I wanted to make a love story. Like I wanted to make a true emotional, tragic love story about these two characters losing their proverbial families at the same day and coming together to connect to try to deal with that. And
I think on that front you succeeded.
I appreciate that. And in our modern sort of film culture, it's like in the independent space, very difficult to sell that kind of film. So
Sure.
I kind of Trojan horse it into a where it seems a little more like an action film. And William he's one of the best guys in that kind of space where it's like making action films. So I was able to kind of have him help in that department to
Sure.
kind of push, that side of the aspect. While I was able to sort of form and kind of make this beautiful little love story.
Very nice. Has making a movie like Warhorse One been kicking around in your head since you co-starred in Black Hawk Down? What was it like working on that modern classic?
Black Hawk was amazing. Ridley is a fucking master. Pardon my language if I'm not supposed to
You're
say
good.
that. Okay. He's a master. Like that was the best experience I've ever had on a film with, in Hollywood making movies. The thing was, I'll tell you what, I split off from Hollywood a while back to become a leading man, and that was a means to an end for me to become my own filmmaker, to be able to write, direct, and do my own movies. So I kind of slipped off into the independent genre where I met William. And but Warhorse, comparison wise, is like I'm trying to get back to that experience I had on Black Hawk, which was making meaningful films.
Sure.
A lot of times in the independent action space, no one fucking cares about the actual story or the characters or making something that's meaningful that will live beyond the disposable content stage of the next streaming service. So for me, that experience on Black Hawk was like compartmentalized as an actor, but I had a great moment with Ridley where the original script, Ken Nolan and Zalian, there was this one paragraph, and it was a very small paragraph about Randy Shughart and Gary Gordon protecting a crash site. And it like the description was, oh, and then you see Randy's boots fly up like he's been killed, and that was that. Like it was this thing, and I remember sitting with Ridley at breakfast one day, and I said, "Man, what these two guys did in this film is so special." And he goes, "Don't worry, mate, we're gonna do it. We're gonna really flesh it out, and it's gonna be great." And on set, this is one of the best experiences I have ever had. Like that day, right? So we show up and I'm sitting actually in the fuselage of this helicopter and I'm looking around at the set thinking about this. And he walked up with Terry Needham, his assistant director, and he said, "All right, Johnny, what are you thinking?" And I go, "Well, what if I'm shooting this gun over here and trying to defend this, and I got shot here and I got to turn and that gun runs out of ammunition, and I pick up this gun and I start shooting here and then I get hit in the back and then I do that." I kind of went through this whole mental thing that I had been preparing. And he's chewing on his little cigar and he goes, "That sounds right, Terry. Let's squib him up." And it was amazing for me because it was like the first time I had ever had a moment in the film business where I was heard,
That's awesome.
So, and I went, wow. And then I saw it and we did 2 takes of it, and he shot it in slow motion, like a higher frame rate. And we were sitting at, the Village looking on the monitors, and we watched that sequence back, and it was the most beautiful, violent, brutal sequence. And I went, wow, I'm seeing the idea, like, in a collaboration with Ridley Scott, this person who basically helped shape my desire to be in the film business as a child, like watching Blade Runner and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that was amazing. And I wanted to get back to that. And just being a participant in action films independently was not that. So it was a kind of epiphany moment where I woke up one day and said, "Fuck it, I'm making my own movie. I'm going to do my thing," and blah, blah, blah. And that's how this came about.
Dig it. We're running out of time. I have a lot of other things
Sorry,
I'd like
brother.
to
Sorry,
discuss.
man.
No,
Sorry.
no, man. Your story was awesome. I really appreciate it. There is the old Hollywood adage, never work with kids or animals, and you did both in your directorial debut. Can you talk to me a bit about your working relationship with your youthful co-star, Athena Derner?
Athena Derner, the most magical.
Hey, sorry guys, Johnny, if you can keep this real quick, the next one is live. Sorry about that. So
Yeah.
in just a second.
Working with Athena is magical. It was perfect. There is in the old adage, no kids, no animals. And the dog was a little difficult. It's actually my dog. but he's a great dog, and he was fantastic. So it was awesome. The best experience working with Athena is the best experience I've ever had with an actor in my 40 plus years in the movie business.
That's awesome. She was great in the movie. Johnny, thank you so much for your time. The movie is Warhorse One. It'll be in theaters Friday, June 30th, and available on VOD July 4th. Best of luck with the picture.
Hey, thanks, Alex. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.